Hello everyone, this is Stephen Balch, your instructor for Introduction to Microeconomics at Ozarka College. This morning what I'd like to do is give you just a little bit of feedback on the Chapter 7 activities that I finished grading this morning. And then I'm going to tell you about what we've got coming up due for Chapter 8. Alright, so the first thing is, like I said, I did finish grading the Chapter 7 activities this morning. Those of you that kind of turned it in late last night or late yesterday, I went ahead and graded those this morning to finish that up. Most of you did well on the Chapter 7 activities. If you haven't already gone in and looked at your grades and read the corresponding grading comments, go ahead and do that as soon as you can and let me know if you have any questions. There were a few parts of the assignment that a lot of you had problems explaining. For example, the relationship between total cost and average cost and marginal cost. And there were some other things on the assignment that more than one of you had had problems with or struggled with. And so what I've done is I've created a video where I review over the Chapter 7 assignment, and it's right here on the announcements page. I just posted it just a few minutes ago. It's also on the activities page, which I'll show you in just a minute. But I would encourage you to watch that video because what I do in that video is I explain to you exactly what I was looking for in the answers to those questions on the assignment. This Chapter 7 that we just finished, that basically covers producer theory. It is a very important chapter just because it introduces terms like total cost and marginal cost and average cost, which are very important in understanding how firms decide how much to produce in order to maximize profit. And of course, as we've learned all semester, that is the goal of every firm, is to maximize profit. And I did notice that on some of you, when you were asked the question, what are firms trying to maximize when they're making production decisions? Some of you just said that you're trying to that the firms are trying to maximize production. Well, that's not really the case. So always be careful in making sure that you completely understand what the motives are of the firms when we're looking at these graphs and charts and tables and so forth, trying to make a kind of simplify and understand how firms make production decisions. So hopefully that video will help you to kind of give you a better understanding of exactly what I was looking for in the answers for the Chapter 7 assignment. All right. I did notice that there were a few of you that seemed to kind of be rushed. I think some of you waited too late to get started on the assignment, and you just didn't have time to fully review the resources that were provided, like the videos and the PowerPoint slides and the textbook. And so you just kind of had to do what you could to get it submitted. The thing about that is you always want to start early enough on these assignments that you give yourself plenty of time to get them completed. But yeah, this Chapter 7 is critical because what we're going to do in the next three chapters, chapters 8 through 10, is we're going to apply what we learned in Chapter 7 to specific market structures. Specifically, we're going to learn about the perfect competition market structure. We're going to learn about monopolistic competition, monopoly, and oligopoly. Those are four kind of categories of market structure that we'll learn about. And so Chapter 7 just kind of introduces you to some of the terminology that we're going to need to make sure we understand before we can understand how firms make specific decisions within the market structure that they're operating in. Okay? All right. Let's see. the discussion that we had that dealt with the economies of scale at McDonald's, I thought that went very well. I really appreciate everyone's input on that. One of the questions asked about, if you had noticed any unusual or unique McDonald's menu items as you've traveled the country, and some of you have traveled to other countries, and I thought that was very interesting. I really enjoyed reading everyone's comments and examples of unique menu items. Okay, the Chapter 7 test, most of you did well on that. Just like I always do, I want to remind you that you can take those chapter tests as many times as you want to up until the due date, and your highest grade on those is automatically recorded. The other thing is, we're going to have a midterm coming up here pretty soon. I know it doesn't seem like we should already be close to midterm, but we're just really a few weeks away. And so the other thing I want to mention, I've mentioned it before, but I'll do it again, is that I will be opening up those chapter tests later in the semester to help you prepare for the midterm and final exam. So kind of keep that in mind. All right, so that brings us to what we've got coming up due next. So if we go to the activities page in MyOzarka, right now we're on kind of the middle part of week 6. Of course, we just had the Chapter 7 work due last night, and so we don't have anything else due this week, but we do have work due next week. Specifically, Thursday, February 29th, which is Thursday of next week, we have the Chapter 8 activities due. Okay? Chapter 8 covers the first and really the most simplistic type of market structure that we'll cover, which is perfect competition. Okay? And so we're going to learn about what perfect competition is, the types of decisions that are made both in the short run and the long run in that type of market structure. We'll also learn about, we'll kind of revisit some of the terms that we learned about in Chapter 7, like marginal cost, total cost, average cost. But we'll also introduce the other side of the equation that goes into profit, which is the revenue. So we'll look at marginal revenue, average revenue, total revenue. Because obviously if we're making decisions, production decisions on how to maximize profit, we can't just look at the cost side. We also have to look at the revenue side. Okay? So that's where the revenue, in this chapter, we're going to kind of start looking at not just the cost, but also the revenue portion of maximizing profit. All right? And what we learn about in Chapter 7, or in Chapter 8, just like I talked about in Chapter 7, a lot of those terms like marginal cost and marginal revenue and so forth are going to also be used in Chapters 9 and 10 when we talk about those other market structures like monopoly and monopolistic competition and oligopoly. So it's very important to take your time when completing the Chapter 8 assignment and make sure that you fully understand all those terms and how they apply, because we will be using those same terms when we're kind of analyzing those other market structures in those other chapters. Okay? So just kind of keep that in mind. And that's really all I have for you for today. So enjoy the rest of this week and your weekend, and I will talk to you again probably sometime at the end of next week. Thank you.